All the action from the 2015 Polokwane Motor Rally is brought to you by the South African National Rally Commission and its partners Volkswagen, Ford, Toyota, Dunlop and Sasol. Life, as we know it, is full of choices, decisions to be made and plans to be laid. We plot, we scheme and we take aim, and we do the best we can. But for the men and women who take part in the South African National Rally Championship, even the best laid plans are often swept aside on a whim by the gods of the sport who seem fickle at best and downright cruel at worst. After 7 rounds of the championship, the 2015 season finally reached its conclusion with the Polokwane Motor Rally, which took place on the 16th and 17th of October in the Limpopo city of the same name. For some of the crews in Class S1600, this was the last roll of the dice, the last chance to improve on their championship positions, the last chance to make their mark on a year that saw defending champion Guy Botterill bounce back after a rocky start to the point where he launched his little Yato Toyota Etios into the fray for the last time. All but certain that he'd be crowned champion at the end of the event.
Short right 3.
But behind Botterill, there was still much at stake, including the matter of the Polokwane Rally itself. This year's rally was based around the Peter Mokaba Stadium on the southern edge of the city. Not only did the stadium serve as HQ for the event, but it also housed the service park and played host to the start and finish of the rally. Day 1 was scheduled to consist of 4 gravel stages, all to the south of Polokwane, while Day 2 would offer 5 more gravel stages to the north of the city. 9 stages in all of them on gravel, with a total special stage distance of 175 kilometers. A tough test, in other words, especially considering the notoriously rough stages on Day 1. As it turned out, Stage 1 had to be cancelled after heavy rains prior to the event made the stage all but undrivable. So the event was reduced to 8 stages. Not that that made things any easier in Polokwane. For the crews lining up to tackle the event, fewer stages meant fewer obstacles and challenges to deal with, but also fewer chances to attack. This was especially poignant for Cape Townians Paulus Franken and Henry Kern, who had second place in the championship firmly in their sights. They were only 7.5 points behind Matthew Vasilyle and Skalk van Heerden in the Fragram Toyota Etios, but Franken, who campaigns the Manitou Volkswagen Polo, was full of fire before the start of the event.
We had a bit of ups and downs throughout the season, but we can still finish second in the championship, so we pushed for a win this year.
Vasilyle was also acutely aware of the threat from Franken, and bearing in mind that Franken is based in Gansbaai, the white shark capital of the world, it would have been easy for the young Durbanite to feel exposed. But Vasilyle has been in this position before and knew exactly what he had to do in order to hang on to second place.
Very, very difficult for us to catch Guy. He's literally got to score no points, so we're not too worried about that. We're just going to focus on keeping our second position and getting to the end of the rally and making sure we match Franken all the time and stay close to him. So, yeah, that's our plan.
The crew with the most points on the board going into the final round was defending champions Guy Botterill and Simon Vasilyle. The pair started their season in uncharacteristically rocky fashion, but has since come back strong and didn't need to do much in Polokwane in order to make it 2 championships in a row.
Quite a long season. We just have to finish this event and score, I think it's 3 more points, and we won the championship. So we're most certainly not going to be out there trying to, set the pace, but we're just going to get to the end and hopefully with as little damage as possible.
With just 1 round of the championship to come, Vasilyle still had a mathematical chance of overtaking Botterill for the title, but it would necessitate disaster for Botterill and a win for Vasilyle. Not impossible, but not likely either. In reality, Vasily was more concerned about Franken behind him than he was about Bottrell in front of him. Chad van Beerden, who would miss the final rally of the season, and Richard Leek rounded out the top 5 as the 2015 Polokwane Motor Rally got underway. With stage 1 cancelled, the crews made their way from the ceremonial start of the rally directly to stage 2, known as Dupré. At only 10.4 kilometers in length, stage 2 may have seemed benign at first, but a plethora of jumps and tricky corners made this a stern test, especially since it suddenly became the opening stage of the rally. After 7 rallies, we'd become accustomed to seeing the name of Guy Bottrell at the top of the leaderboard, especially after the opening stage of an event. This time, however, it wasn't Bottrell's name who topped the standings after the opening stage, but rather that of young Richard Leek, who campaigns the ATS Ford Fiesta, together with navigator Rick Fourie. The pair set the benchmark time of 7 minutes 48.1 seconds, just 0.1 of a second quicker than Bottrell. Significantly, it immediately showed Leek's intent on the final event of the year, though Bottrell was hardly going to lie awake about the 10th of a second he lost on the opening stage. Ashley Haig-Smith with navigator Neil Burns beside him in the AHS Ford Fiesta was next fastest, losing 5.1 seconds to the crews ahead of him. And just 3 seconds behind him came Namibian Marco Himmel and navigator Gert Nienaber in the Genuine Parts Volkswagen Polo. The pair was clearly finding their stride in the Polo and managed to pip the Manitou Volkswagen Polo crew of Paul Franken and Henry Kern by 1.6 seconds. They in turn went 7 seconds faster than AC Potgieter and Tommy Dutoy in the Ricky B Secretary Autobody Polo, who was 5 seconds quicker through the stage than championship runner-up Matthew Vasily and navigator Skulk van Heerden in the Fragram Toyota Etios. Early days, but stage 2 set the scene for the rest of the rally. It was on to stage 3 next, known as Snyman. This 12.8 kilometer long stage was extremely rough, especially in the first section, but it also offered an opportunity for a brave crew to stamp its authority on the event. And that's exactly what Himmel did when he blasted through the rocky stage in a time of just 10 minutes 12 seconds .3, a full 7.4 seconds faster than the next quickest crew. Fast enough at this early stage to push him all the way to the second place in the overall standings. Himmel was now just 0.7 seconds behind the early leader Leek. But Leek managed the second fastest time on stage 3, ensuring that he maintained his fast shrinking lead. Defending champions came through third fastest in a time 10 seconds slower than that posted by Himmel. Even so, Bottrell was doing exactly what he needed to do in order to ensure victory in the championship.
The first 2 stages are done. We've taken no risks. We're just keeping it nice and straight on the road.
Ashley Haig-Smith was up next, though he lost 1.3 seconds on the stage. Still, the youngster was as upbeat as always.
It was alright. I see we lost about a good 20 seconds, I think, there. So
AC Potgieter and Paul Franken posted almost identical stage time, but losing the best part of 15 seconds to Himmel on the stage. But Vasily lost even more when he posted a time 23 seconds down on the leader. Not quite the start he needed. With 2 of the day's 3 stages done, it was time for a quick visit to the Dunlop Service Park, back at the Peter Mokaba Stadium. A dash of fuel, some repairs where needed, and off they went again to face the final stage of the day. Though we also found a moment to catch up with early leader Richard Leek.
Yeah, I know the first 2 stages went well. I'm happy with the car. The car feels great. Rick is doing a great job, and yeah, there's still quite a bit to go, so we'll see.
Back to the stage called Dupré then, this time as stage 4 of the rally, and the last one of the day. Remember the fight for second in the championship between Paul Franken and Matthew Vasily? Well, Franken clearly decided to grab that battle by the scruff of its neck and shake it all over the place. He went 5 seconds quicker than his rival on the stage, though it wasn't the fastest time by far. No, the fastest time was posted by Bottrell, who pulled out all the stops to pip Himmel by 1.2 seconds. Clearly another good dice was on, as is so often the case in the hotly contested Class S1600. Ashley Haig-Smith in the meantime went third fastest on the stage, though he lost the best part of 7 seconds to Bottrell in the process. Most importantly, all 8 Class S1600 crews that started the 2015 Motor Rally finished the day largely unscathed. And by the time the sun set over the dusty stages south of Polokwane, this is what the leaderboard looked like. Namibian Marco Himmel was in the lead, but only by the skin of his teeth. Bottrell was breathing down his neck, just 0.6 of a second behind. Leek was in third, having lost time in the final stage of the day, with Haig Smith and Franken completing the top 5. For Himmel, however, the day had gone pretty much to plan, and he had every reason to be happy.
It was quite unexpected. I didn't think we'll be leading. It's good to be back on form again. I think it's been a long time coming, and unfortunately at the end of the season. But we had a pretty good large stage now, and we did 2 small mistakes, which probably cost it like a second and a half, but yeah, happy for the day.
In a way, Paul Franken and Matthew Basilao have a lot in common. They are both young, talented and quiet, well brought up lads who walk the walk and don't mess around with too much talking. But on Saturday 17 October 2015, it was Franken who stepped forward to stake his claim on 2nd place in the championship. The scene of his big push was stage 5 of the Polokwane Motor Rally on a stage known as Kruger. Nearly 39 kilometers in length, Kruger was by far the longest stage of the rally and the perfect place to make a stand. Franken went 6 seconds faster than anyone else and put 50 more seconds between himself and Vasey Lyle.
I didn't feel too bad. Struggled to keep momentum in some of the tight corners, so I think we lost a bit of time there.
But Vasey Lyle knew that this was not a fight to win in outright pace. He's been around for long enough to keep plugging away and waiting for the rally to come to him. As a matter of fact, Franken's time of 26 minutes 31.1 seconds was the fastest of all, and he was nearly 12 seconds up on Marco Himmel, who posted the 2nd fastest time in his genuine parts Volkswagen Polo. For Richard Leek and Rick Fourie in the ATS Fiesta, stage 5 was full of overshoots and rear brake troubles, and they lost 20 seconds to Franken as a result. Ashley Haig Smith and navigator Neil Burns were next fastest, and they were followed by AC Potgieter in the Ricky B Polo and Andrew Hine in the Hine Sport version of the same car. But hang on, we're missing one of the top names here. Guy Bottrell and navigator Simon Basilao had suffered a damper failure mid-stage and tumbled down the order as a result. They lost nearly a minute to Franken on the stage and slipped to 5th overall in the process.
Didn't go well. I think we got a broken shock, so we nursed it. We nursed it in for the last 10 Ks.
Next up was the traditional blast around the farm of Richard Schulenberg on the stage of the same name. This time it was employed as stage 6 of the event and featured 18 frantic kilometers of special stage rallying. 18 kilometers that took the stage winner just 11 minutes 36.6 seconds to complete, at an average speed of 92 kilometers an hour. The man who set the benchmark time was none other than rally leader Marco Himmel and navigator Gert Nienaber in their genuine parts Volkswagen Polo. The pair went just a single 1/10 of a second faster than Leek and Fourie in the ATS Ford Fiesta. But then Fourie had left his stage notes for stage 6 in the service park, and they had to navigate the treacherous stage from memory. Daunting to say the least. Third fastest was Ashley Haig Smith and navigator Neil Burns in the AHS Fiesta. The pair lost 4 seconds to the leaders on the stage, but managed to stay in touch with the action ahead of them. Young AC Potgieter was next fastest, just a single second behind Haig Smith, while Andrew Hine posted an almost identical time. Further back, Matthew Basilao was still going, though he wasn't in the running for a podium at this point. Bottrell was still nursing his damaged Yato Toyota Etios, and with another stage between him and service, things were looking somewhat bleak. But the biggest upset of stage 6 came when Paul Franken and Henry Kern emerged from the stage. The pair had lost 10 seconds to the leader, and things weren't well in the Manitou-supported Polo. Even so, the Cape Townian was still in 3rd place. But how long would it last? For Franken, the writing was on the wall, and even before the very next stage, known as Oorlemans Verkeil, the youngster parked the Manitou Polo on the side of the road, watching helplessly as second place in the championship slipped out of his grasp. The scene of Franken's retirement was just before the start of the 17.4 kilometer long Stage 7, which was, however, also the scene of an emphatic stage win for Marco Himmel and Gert Nienaber, who took 10 seconds out of the second fastest crew on the stage. The second fastest crew was none other than would-be champions Guy Bottrell and Simon Basie-Lyle in the Yato Toyota Etios. Still nursing a damaged shock absorber, the pair posted a time 11 seconds down on that of Himmel. Not fast enough to win the rally, but certainly fast enough to keep them right in the mix. AC Potgieter clearly hit his stride on Stage 7, going just half a second slower than Bottrell, with Ashley Haig-Smith coming through another half a second behind him. For Richard Leek and Rick Ferree in the ATS Fiesta, however, Stage 7 proved pretty tough. Remember the puncture they suffered earlier? Turns out the rear caliper was damaged in the process, and on Stage 7 it caused another puncture. This time it cost the crew 50 seconds, and they had to watch second place slip away as a result. Matthew Basie-Lyle in the Fragram Toyota Etios made it through Stage 7 without incident, sure in the knowledge that Franken was out of the picture, and that second in the championship was safe. All he had to do now was get to the end of the rally. With the morning stages behind them, the crews were finally offered some respite in the form of a visit to the Dunlop Service Park back in Polokwane. This gave us a moment to catch up with the hapless Franken.
Unfortunately, we had to retire with a fan belt coming off, so we made a call to rather stop. We're happy with our pace, and we'll be back next year.
It also gave us a chance to chat with the rally leader, who now had a comfortable gap between himself and the crew in second place.
We had a good morning's loop. We had a bit of gearbox problems with oil spilling out, but nothing too serious, and we managed it. Luckily, Guy and them had some problems, and yeah, we're now leading by a margin of 50 seconds, and we'll just keep it there.
So, after Stage 7 of the Polokwane Motor Rally, it was Himmel who led by 50 from Haig-Smith. Leek was the big loser after his puncture problems, tumbling to third, now more than a minute behind the lead. Potgieter was up into fourth, while Bottrell was hanging on despite his damper problems in fifth. Only 2 stages remained in the 2015 South African National Rally Championship, and both were repeats from earlier in the day. First up was Stage 8, featuring a second run through Kruger, the longest and hairiest stage of the rally. For Leek and Ferree, the morning session was frustrating, and they lost a chunk of time due to caliper problems on their ATS Fiesta. But after a visit to the service park, they came out swinging and posted a time of 26 minutes 25.6 seconds over 38.7 kilometers. That's an average speed of 87 kilometers an hour, despite the massive pivot points and tight turns that they had to negotiate. An emphatic stage win for Leek and Ferree.
Yeah, no, it felt good. It's a lot better than the first run this morning, so we're hoping it's a good time. Just waiting for Ashley's time to see.
The next fastest crew was that of Haig-Smith and Burns in the AHS Fiesta, who were 9 seconds slower than Leek. The result was that Leek closed the gap to Haig-Smith, who was in second place at the time, to just 4.6 seconds.
That was a much better stage. We should have been driving like that in the beginning.
AC Potgieter and Tommy de Toy posted the third fastest time, making the most of their Ricky B and Secretary Auto Body Polo. They very nearly matched Haig-Smith's time and were hovering just outside the top 3. Guy Bottrell came through next fastest, and he was followed by rally leader Marco Himmel, who still maintained a reasonably comfortable lead despite struggling with gearbox problems. Sadly, Stage 8 also spelt the end for Andrew Hine in the Heinsport Volkswagen Polo, who joined Franken on the retirement list after the engine in his car gave up the ghost. So to the final stage of the 2015 Polokwane Motor Rally, a repeat of Stage 6, this time employed as Stage 9. Schulenburg was to be the scene of the final battle of the year, and with the crews in Class S1600 bunched up behind the leader, anything could happen. With the heat suddenly on, rally leader Himmel decided to push as hard as possible, despite the dodgy gear shift that had developed in his genuine parts Polo. The Namibian went all all in on the final stage and posted a time of 11 minutes 26.9 seconds. Not the fastest of the day, but certainly fast enough to ensure victory. The fastest crew on the final stage was the resurgent Lee Kinferee, who had clearly decided to wrest second place from Ashley Haig-Smith no matter what. The pair went 2.8 seconds quicker than even Himmel, but the expected fight back from Haig-Smith was a non-event. The luckless Fiesta crew suffered recurring drive shaft issues and lost more than 5 minutes on the stage, dropping them well down the order and handing second place to Leek. Guy Bottrell, in the meantime, went 4 seconds slower than Himmel, but still posted the third fastest time on the stage. Remember, all Bottrell had to do was finish the event, or even less, taking Super Rally regulations into account, and that he did in fine style too.
Right 6.
AC Potgieter was next fastest through the stage, and as a result he recorded his first podium finish. A great day of racing for the youngster, who has shown exciting pace at times. Matthew Vasey-Lyle completed the stage some 14 seconds slower down on the leaders, but it hardly mattered. By completing the final stage, he sealed his second position in the championship and moved up into 5th in the overall standings. And then suddenly it was all over. Not only had the 2015 Polokwane Motor Rally come to an end, but so had the 2015 South African National Rally Championship. In the end, it was Marco Himmel who claimed his first victory of the season behind the wheel of his genuine parts Volkswagen Polo. He had Lee Kinferee nearly half a minute behind him, with Potgieter stepping onto the podium for the first time in his rally career. Bottrell finished 4th, with teammate Vasey-Lyle completing the top 5. So it was 2 Volkswagens, 2 Toyotas and a Ford in the top 5. Testament to the great diversity of the crews in Class S1600. The Polokwane Motor Rally was a show of force for Namibia's Marco Himmel and navigator Gert Nienaber. The pair piloted their Volkswagen genuine parts Polo with aplomb, proving that the right tool in the right hands can be lethal. On the one hand, one might argue that Himmel's performance in the Polokwane was nothing more than a one-hit wonder, a flash in the pan. But on the other hand, it could also be the awakening of a future giant in the sport. And that's probably where the smart money is. In the end, the young Namibian attained the highest step of the podium in Polokwane and had every reason to be upbeat about his future in the sport.
It's quite unexpected, like I said in the first day, but we're very happy with it to end the season in a high. I think it's very good for Volkswagen to have 2 cars in both classes on a podium, with them ending their rally career. So yeah, I can't be more stoked than I am.
He was flanked by Lee Kinferee, who did well to take 2nd overall in their ATS North City Ford Fiesta, and AC Potgieter and Tommy du Toit in the Ricky B. Secretary Autobody Volkswagen Polo, who posted their best result yet by finishing 3rd in Polokwane. But there was disappointment for Franken and Kern, who had pushed hard in order to take 2nd place in the championship from Matthew Vasey-Lyle and navigator Schalk van Heerden. But in the end, they may have pushed just a little too hard and was forced to watch from the sidelines as Vasey-Lyle and van Heerden capped off a great season in the Fragram Toyota Etios by sealing 2nd place for the year. But in the end, it was Guy Bottrell and Simon Vasey-Lyle who made it 2 championships in a row. Granted, their Polokwane Motor Rally lacked the fireworks that fans have come to expect from the pair, but then again, they only really needed to finish anywhere in the order to clinch the title. After a surprisingly tough year, Bottrell was characteristically demure despite winning his 2nd championship. But then again, the entire rally was somewhat dampened by the announcement that Volkswagen SA Motorsport would end its factory rally involvement at the end of this season after 33 years in the sport. The future of the sport is being mapped out even as this TV broadcast goes out. But for now, we leave you with the words of the 2015 Class S1600 champion, Guy Bottrell.
Yes, that's what we set up at the beginning of the year, is to win the championship, and we've had a phenomenal year, had some ups and downs, but we're really happy to get to the end of the year and achieve our goals. And it's certainly down to our sponsors, Yato Tools, Toyota and Liqui Moly have really been out there and helped us a lot. and the personal achievements that we've all achieved. My mom, my dad, Grant and Sue, Simon, my navigator, everyone's put in a hell of a lot of work, and it's all down to them, and I can only thank them very much for a phenomenal 2 years of rallying with them.
The action from the 2015 National Rally Championship was brought to you by the South African National Rally Commission and its partners Volkswagen, Ford, Toyota, Dunlop and Sasol.